America's Cup is one of the world's most prestigious and historic races of all times, where the best and most talented sailors are pitted against each other in extreme flying catamarans that reach speeds up to 50 knots. And now, Swedish Artemis Racing has just one goal: to seize history's oldest sporting trophy, the Old Mug.
During the last Cup, we saw the advent of wing sails and soft sails sent in front of that, which very much goes against the conventional sailing rigs we've sort of known for years. And this time around, it's progressed even further in the sense of last time around we had code zeros and soft sails set in front of large bowsprits, but now the boats are so fast, there's a very, very low wind speed at which you'd use that extra sail area. Now the boats are so efficient and going so fast, the apparent wind angle is always so far forward that you have the wing and a number of different jib sizes that you set in front of that, but there's no time when you'd use a code zero or a Jenica in front. It's called a wing because it looks just like a wing as we know from aircraft. Some people call it a solid wing sail, and it's a funny term because in the structural sense it is solid. There's a structural D-spar at the front on the leading edge of the main element. And that is a structural part that's taken the compression loads and a lot of torsion loads of the wing. But behind that, it's a very soft membrane structure that's really just creating the airfoil shape. And it's actually a basic clear film that's a heat shrink film. It's like a food wrap. And you just stick it on with double-sided tape and you heat it and it goes tight. And then behind that, you've got the aft flap. And that is linked to the control system, and we can control the amount of twist in the entire wing with that. And this is one of the areas where we differentiate. We often talk about the wing being like an aircraft wing, but an aircraft is quite simple in the sense of you have a takeoff phase, a cruise phase, and a landing phase. And they're very distinct, and they're very much done for certain speeds. Whereas we've got to have this wing controllable to be able to cope with a 4 to 5 knot very light drifting day and a 25 knot windy day, and upwind and downwind. The demands of the shape we want from our wing are quite different, and that's one of the demands of the control system. So we'll see various different cambers being used, the angle of the front and back elements being adjusted, and the amount of twist in the aft one. And that's where you get into this difference between it. Some people saying, oh, it's a solid wing. Actually, when you look at the aft one, it's being distorted and forced into different shapes that at that moment it doesn't look very solid at all. It's much more like a traditional sail in that sense.
I love the new sailing. You just get places quicker now. It's fast, it's, I guess, dangerous. Some days you're just happy to get back to the dock with the boat in one piece, and it's really physical.
Chris Brittle is one of the engines on board Artemis Racing. His task as grinder is to supply the energy needed to power all the hydraulic systems. And for Chris Brittle and the other grinders sailing today's hypermodern flying catamarans, that means working almost constantly at max heart rate during racing.
Now it's becoming a lot more of an actual athletic sport, so we do treat it more like a professional sport like rowing or cycling. Because you have to train so much and so many hours. So when we're not sailing, we'll get 2 or 3 sessions in a day. And when we're sailing, we try and have an easier session, maybe do weights or something, because we'll be doing 4 hours on the water, which is a hard session in itself.
3, 2, 1, Chris is he's fairly unique. He's a big guy. He's 110 kilos or thereabouts. Phenomenal aerobic fitness, and I think he's naturally strong. He can bench press 160 kg quite easily, 1 rep max, maybe even be more. So he's naturally strong and naturally powerful. I mean, his peak power is 1,500, 1,600 watts, which is phenomenal. He's got the engine of an elite cyclist. He's just a big guy for big aerobic fitness.
The races are extremely hard. We've done a few practice races and it's flat out. You can't, at the moment, we're still improving the system, so you can't grind enough, so it's almost impossible at the moment. We can't be good enough, and the better we get, the more power we can produce, and then the more they'll use. So it's a catch-22 situation, but it's going to be hard, whatever. We accept that, you know, we'll train our hardest, and we're willing to do that. As long as the systems guys build us some good systems, we're happy to put the effort in.